Ulrich Sherry is a former manager of the largest antique centre in Sydney and now lives on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. Over the 15 years he spent managing the antique centre, Ulrich developed a keen eye for art. Having purchased a large selection of high-calibre artwork, he said the natural progression to cubism and fine art was inevitable. A health scare forced Ulrich to reevaluate his life, and one of his decisions was to sell his art collection. He set up a website and Facebook page for this purpose. What makes this story a little different is that he is selling this collection for both standard and cryptocurrencies. In his own words.
I found a picture while I was at the Antique Centre, when I first started there. I found a picture that I really liked, a very important Scottish painting, and but I only had half the money to buy this picture. And so I asked my boss, I said, are you interested in a partnership with the picture? And he said yes. He took $5,000 out of the safe, which was a lot of money in 1985, 86. He gave it to me. He said, there you go, Ulrich, I trust you. So I bought the picture. I took the picture to London. I sold it at Sotheby's, and essentially he doubled his money in a few months. So he was very happy, and he gave me, as part of the reward I suppose, because he was so happy, he gave me my own shop, my own showcase at the Sydney Antique Centre, and I specialised in Italian and French glass, René Lalique glass. I had one of the most lovely shops in the Sydney Antique Centre. During that period that I was at the Antique Centre for the 15 years, I bought and sold quite a few pictures. I was making a lot of trips to London, I made trips to Paris, so it was an area that I was familiar with and I was comfortable with that area. So, and then later on I came across these two collections, these fantastic collections, and I acquired them over a period of 3 years, and so I had plenty of time to examine them, and I spent a lot of money. So I put my money where my mouth is. I bought these pictures, and I'm very happy with the pictures. When I saw this collection, I realised it was an opportunity. These pictures were amazing. And all my research that I did in London and in New York has validated my decision. I'm extremely happy with what I've done. I've looked at in the Museum of Modern Art, the Guggenheim, the Metropolitan Museum in New York, the Tate Modern in London. I've looked at a lot of paintings by these artists that are in my collection. And so I've been able to make a comparison with brush strokes, everything. I've been able to make a comparison with these pictures. I've looked really closely. With Roy Lichtenstein, I looked at a couple of his pictures. I probably spent nearly an hour looking at one picture, one of his pictures, to look at his technique with the dots, his brush strokes, the way he worked. I was able to cross-reference it with the pictures that I have in my collection, and I cannot fault the techniques in my collection with what I saw in the collections at the Museum of Modern Art and the Tate and the Metropolitan. These images were created as a progression. It started off as just a black and white line drawing of the hand pointing. That was it. That was the original idea. The original image actually was inspired by the Kitchener picture of Your Country Needs You. That's where that image came from originally. Roy Lichtenstein borrowed it, as many artists borrow from other ideas. In the development series, he would have done maybe 10, 20, 30 images because he was a graphic designer. Progressing with colour, and with this particular image, he was using, he wanted to see the red as a device for highlighting the image, and then the Ben-Day dots which are on the hand. So, and he has the border around. So this is absolutely typical of his process. I've had it analysed in New York by a company that specialised in researching pictures, and they were quite satisfied, and it's all available, the information is available on my website, that they did all the research and they were satisfied that this was an original work of art by Roy Lichtenstein for the iconic finger-pointing image that became quite famous. I'm selling these pictures because I had a big health scare about 18 months ago. I had a major, serious class 4 brain hemorrhage, and I was in intensive care for weeks. I was very ill for months, and it's been a long process to get better. But now I can wiggle all my fingers and I can wiggle my toes. I can string a sentence together. I don't have any deficits now, apart from a little bit of short-term memory issues. One doesn't know how long one has on this earth, and I thought, well, I had to set the wheels in motion to sell my collection, because I realised I wasn't invincible. I was the same as everybody else, that we have a limited time to do things, and so I decided to sell the collection. But I can sell it with confidence because I love the collection. I love every single picture that I've bought and that I'm selling. These pictures are for sale on my website. I take fiat currency, US dollars, Australian dollars, lira, euros, pounds, I don't mind. I'll take any currency, but I also include cryptocurrency. I'm quite happy to take Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bankcoin. I took an interest in cryptocurrencies about 6 to 9 months ago, and I knew absolutely nothing about them at the time. I just was hearing about it a little bit. I heard a little bit about Bitcoin. I wasn't sure, I didn't know anything about the mechanism, but it was something that intrigued me, so I did a bit of investigating, and my research told me that this was something interesting, and it was sound, so I will accept Bitcoin, Ethereum and Litecoin, and more recently I've investigated Bankcoin, and I think that is actually better than all of them. When I'm talking about Bankcoin, I'm talking about Bankcoin Reserve, which is a gold-tethered currency for international exchange. It's a very stable currency because it is linked to the value of 1 ounce of gold, and that price is set once a month at the beginning of the month, and therefore all transactions for that month will be carried out at a set price, which gives it incredible stability. And that's the appeal for me, is that it is a stable cryptocurrency. That's why I'm happy to take Bankcoin as payment, because it is a store of wealth. It's not speculation. It's not part of the crypto casino. I've done 3 transactions this week with 3 different entities, and the 3 sales add up to $1 million, over $1 million Australian, which I think demonstrates my confidence in Bankcoin Reserve as a stable medium. I sleep quite well at night knowing that I've done that.